years ago, I moved from the Dominican Republic to a quiet little corner of Poland called Kashubian. I came for love. What can I say? And I definitely didn't know how much beauty there was to discover. To my surprise, Poland was not just a country, it was the home to a whole culture that identified both as Polish and as something else, in this case, as Kashubian. A group of people with their own language, customs, and a history of survival hidden right in plain sight. This is the story of the Kashubians, told by someone who is still learning, so if there's anything that I say that is not completely accurate, please go ahead and let me know in the comments so we can all learn. Kashubians, known in their own language as Kaszuby, are a Slavic. I don't know, I think I am not thinking that I said that right, but the intention is what matters, people say. They are a Slavic ethnic group who lived in northern Poland for over 1,000 years. They are not a tribe, they are a distinct people with their own language, customs, and identity. One that has survived wars, occupations, and forced assimilation. Imagine that for a second. Today, most Kashubians live in the Pomeranian voivodeship, especially around towns like Kartuze, Koszalina, and Bedów. And I want to make a little stop because I have seen signs claiming both Kartuze and Koszalina as the stolica of the Kartuze region, so like the capital of the Kartuze region. Which one it is? I live closer to Kartuze, so I'm choosing to believe to them. Yeah, you to believe them, but I don't know. Maybe you have some different information. What makes them unique? They've held on to their roots without becoming separatist. They are proud Poles and proud Kashubians at the same time, which is really, kind of funny considering how in Catalonia in Spain, people have a really intense identity linked to the region and they don't really feel as Spaniards anymore, even claiming that they want to be a separate country. So it's really curious that in Kashubian, people can still feel as Kashubians, but also as Polish people. I just almost died on my own saliva. The Kashubian language, or Kaszewski Język, is a West Slavic language related to Polish, Czech, Slovak, but very different at the same time. Its roots go back to the Old Pomeranian, spoken here before Poland even existed as a kingdom. For centuries, Kashubian was passed down orally, so no official, nothing written, right? Just songs, prayers, stories, kept alive in the families and the farming villages. But during the partitions of Poland in the 18th and 19th centuries, first Prussia and then Germany tried to erase it. German was forced in the school, and I've even heard of stories of people who completely integrated the three languages in order to survive. So they spoke Kashubian in home, Polish, and then also German in the schools. Speaking Kashubian was punished. The children were shamed, and some families even stopped teaching the language to their kids because they thought that they were protecting them. Again, what is wrong with my mouth today? Later, under communist rule, the language was seen as unimportant, or worse, divisive. It was discouraged again, even though it was never rebellion, like it was just Kashubian. And yet it survived. And well, when you can't speak your language freely, you speak through colors, through music, through design. You find a way to make yourself heard. And that's exactly what happened with Kashubian embroidery, which is one of the most recognizables through Europe. It's some beautiful, delicate floral patterns in 7 specific colors, each of them with a symbolic meaning. 3 shades of blue for the Baltic Sea, the lakes, and the sky. Then we have the green for the forest, the yellow for the sun, red for love and blood, and black for the hard times that they've endured. Even the flag, a bold black eagle on yellow, speaks volumes. We are here. We have always been here. That's what it says. And get this, they even have their own anthem, their own alphabet song, and even a Kashubian National Unity Day, which is celebrated in March 19th, just in case you were wondering. This isn't just tradition. This is resistance made joyful. And I want to point out that this is something that we will see in a lot of different cultures. So, for example, in the Dominican Republic, when they try to erase the identity of the slaves that they brought there, a lot of them integrated their songs, even in their pattern, in braiding, and all of that. So, yeah, it's something that happens. But, if the Kashubian people just wanted to mind their own business, why were people so intensely, forcing them to disappear? Well, basically because identity scares the regimes. So, first, with the first partitions, they tried to make them fully German, but they still kept talking their language secretly at homes and in the churches. During World War II, Kashubians were seen as a problem by both sides. The Nazis tried to Germanize them, or worse, deport or kill them, because some of them were labeled as ethnic Germans against their will, but others joined the Polish resistance movements. Some families were divided, and many never came back, to be honest. After the war, under the Soviet-influenced Poland, the official line was, "We are all one people, no more minorities," which meant that once again the Kashubian people had to hide. It was not until the late 1990s, after the communism collapse, that the Kashubian people were able to finally express themselves and slowly start to build their identity again, I guess. If you walk around the area, you will find a lot of small museums. Like, even close to my house, there's just a guy that has a bunch of random things, and it's like a museum. Because here the people are trying to preserve their history. And it's not just history to them, it's resilience, it's keeping their culture alive. But okay, you may be wondering, that was before, how is the Kashubian region now? Can you still feel the spirit of the same resilience? And the answer is yes. There is Radio Kasheve, for example, where they still speak the language. But not only that, you will also see that every sign has both in Polish and in the Kashubian language. Even when it's just so quiet when you first come here, there's so much life because people are still keeping their old traditions. You can see the people picking up the mushrooms, pickling everything, which I think it's something that a lot of people in general in Poland do, but it's also so tied to the Kashubian region. There's of course the religion, which is mostly Catholicism, which is deeply woven into daily life. And the food, come on, sledge po kaszubsku? Yes. What's funny is, again, we in Dominican Republic eat something called arenque, which is exactly the same fish, but I was not able to realize that it was the same thing, because by the time it gets to Dominican Republic, it's completely covered in oil and salt to preserve it. So it took me a few months to actually know that it was the same thing. There's also some sweet things, like this cake, which, the name actually means like an ant colony, which is crazy, but it's apparently delicious. I haven't eaten it. And, I still miss my Caribbean flavors. God knows that some days I will just kill for some plátano. But there's something about the Kashubian food that it's just so comforting, right? And there is something also about living in this region, about the lakes, about the forest, being able to just go out with my son and enjoy a walk. And especially now when the neighbors already kind of know me and I'm not just this random person that, doesn't look Polish at all and is randomly living here. It's so cool for me when my neighbor, which I don't know, 60, 70 years old, is driving in his small scooter and says "Dzień dobry" to me and I can answer back. Or when we go to the farms in one of my husband's friends and his father is telling me, "Oh, you're learning Polish, now you have to learn Kaszubski." It's just like the little details that make you feel so happy and make you enjoy it so much, because I think it's so easy to think that countries are just the main cities and that the small villages don't matter when visiting or when choosing where you're going to live there. But what I've found is that if you really want to know the heart of the country, you need to go to those small villages where the people's roots are as deep as the oldest trees, when the land still remembers the steps of the people who came before you. The Kashubians they remind us that even the smallest culture, even the ones that don't make global headlines, they matter. They hold an incredible value and that we need to preserve them. And we need to respect them when we come here, right? So Kashubians, they aren't asking to break away from Poland. They are just asking to exist in peace and be able to speak their own truth and their own culture. Culture doesn't always need to be loud. Sometimes it's quiet and persistence, like a seed that keeps growing even underneath the ground. So if you ever come to Poland, don't skip the north. Don't just visit Gdansk or Gdynia. Come a little deeper. Visit Kashubia and let it surprise you. And now, my Kashubian neighbors, thank you so much. Thank you for welcoming me and being so nice to me from the start. And for you guys, if you would like to learn a little bit more about Polish culture, you can go ahead and watch one of those videos. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.